All right, guys. Episode 9, Heart of the Order. Episode 4 of quarantine, 5 of quarantine. I don't know.
I don't know. We lost track.
Who
I don't
knows?
really know the actual count. All the days are blending together. All the episodes are blending together.
I would think it's 6 actually,
1825.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there. The number is gradually growing higher and higher as we settle into quarantine with no baseball, no sports. It is a pretty big day for sports, though. We got the NFL draft tonight, so that should be interesting. Not exactly baseball related, but still,
We'll take anything.
any sports these days is a good thing. The Last Dance came out on Sunday. Did you guys watch that? What'd you think?
I haven't watched it yet. I was going to do it this weekend.
Oh man, it's awesome to see the behind the scenes stuff. My big takeaway was that Michael Jordan did not care about any type of hierarchy, and you kind of, when you're him, I guess it's deserved. It's deservedly so, just because of the fact that he wants to win. And Jerry Krause just completely shattered any type of trust he had with the front office, and he did it immediately. And I just can't believe that he stuck it out all these years.
It was wild. I didn't realize that like Jerry Krause was the one that broke them up until watching the documentary. I mean, obviously, like when all of this stuff was going on, I was probably 5 years old, 6 years old. So like, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention too much to it. But I didn't know that he like actually broke them up. Like I didn't know that happened. I didn't know why they came to an end ever. I mean, dynasties eventually come to an end. Like most recently, you see with the Warriors. Like teams like that can't last for very long when you have superstars. When you have a bunch of superstars, especially when you have a guy like Scottie Pippen, who's making the 122nd amount of money in the league, which is nuts. I never knew that either.
Yeah, that also blew my mind. Honestly, probably more so than the Jerry Krause thing, because Pippen's an all-time player.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's definitely a top 50 player at the very least of all time. And that's just giving it on a wide scale. But at the same time, can't be paid the way he was. He was the 6th highest paid player on the team. He's easily the 2nd best player on that team.
Worst agent ever.
I think I saw something.
It's actually kind of his fault. I mean,
yeah.
His agent, I'm sure his agent didn't say, hey, you got to sign this deal, and you'll see all this, Brooksy, when you watch the doc, but it's just one of the few things. It's just one of the few things that it kind of puts a microscope on. And one other thing I did like was the montage where Jordan went off versus Celtics.
Yeah.
With the cover song of Bad by LL Cool J. I thought that was so dope.
The music was like the soundtrack of the first 2 episodes was
A+.
Yeah.
It's an A+ doc so far, so you'll like it. And episodes 3 and 4 are going to highlight the Bad Boy Pistons and Dennis Rodman.
It was definitely a good watch. I'm pretty sure it was like the highest watched documentary in the history of the ESPN, like the first 2 days I think I saw, or something like that, which I think a lot of people expected, especially with the amount of like social media buzz it got. I mean, like Sunday night, every other tweet I saw was something related to it. So it was pretty funny, especially you got all the live tweeters of it and things like that who literally tweet out about every single thing.
50% of my tweeters, 50% of the people in my timeline were LeBron fans, so they're just slamming Jordan. So it's the best of both worlds. It's great entertainment.
Was it going to be every Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the next 5 weeks, I think it's 2 episodes a Sunday.
Yeah, I think I saw that originally it was supposed to be played in the off days of the NBA Finals. I'd be like, that is just so smart. But
yeah,
they people trapped in their homes. This is also smart.
they moved it up because of that, which is
Mhm.
awesome. You know, like kudos to the ESPN and Jordan and the NBA for getting that, you know, the timeline completely changed to help everyone else kind of get through this time of news sports. Like, thank you.
Mhm.
And it's funny because you see like all of the like NBA, like people that are dealing in the NBA, like Rachel Nichols, for example, like people that are kind of writing on beats and things like that. Like some of these people with ESPN have seen the entire documentary already, and they're all tweeting like it gets even better. Like I thought the first 2 episodes were really good, and they're like it gets even better than it is now. So just like be ready.
Yeah.
It's like,
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm sucked in. I'll say that. I'm kind of glad they didn't release it all at once, kind of like a Netflix series, like a 10-episode Netflix series. Because I mean, be done with that honestly in a day.
Mhm.
Just sit there and binge watch it. So it gives you something to look forward to, which is real nice.
Yeah. But you know, seeing that there's not really any sports, you know, on Heart of the Order, we're a baseball-driven podcast, but we still talk about other sports just because of the lack of sports right now. But we did receive some news. I'm gonna call it good news.
What's
Yesterday,
that flag over your shoulder, boy?
you can see it right there.
You need anything you can get.
Anything I can get. But like the investigation was into the Red Sox cheating scandal of 2018 was finally ended yesterday. It came to a conclusion. News came out that basically the punishments were dropped. Obviously, I think you guys would call it a very light punishment, right? A very light punishment. I thought it was going to be
Not if you're JT Watkins.
yeah, not if you're JT Watkins.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean,
So the league suspended, to start, the league suspended Alex Cora through the end of the 2020 season, but only for what he was involved in Houston, a.k.a. there wasn't any cheating being done in Boston.
Yet they took away a draft pick.
Yeah, they took away a second-round draft pick in 2020. And the replay operator, JT Watkins, who basically is in charge of analyzing video of the game after the game and basically trying to figure out sign sequences for future games. So from what I saw, he was basically canned or basically suspended because he was just doing his job. I mean, he was trying to confirm his work is what I got, is what from my understanding, because he was like, it would be so hard. It's so hard to steal signs like during the game. But his job is to watch video after the game and steal and like basically figure out the signs is what I came to an understanding of.
Yeah, he had a much more rudimentary method than what was done in like the Astros, but he was still decoding signs live in game. And then I'm confused because the Astros guy in like the comparable position, the guy that like built the code breaker, he didn't get anything.
No.
So I'm a big precedent guy. So I'm not saying, I don't think like the Astros, what they did was far and away worse than what the Red Sox did.
Yeah.
But it's just so much tougher to actually build concrete evidence on something. And I think a lot more teams than just the Red Sox are doing something like this.
Oh, 100%.
The MLB regretted opening up the case, especially when you don't have a Mike Fiers whistleblower.
Yeah.
You like build a concrete case against anything, because at this point, once things were opened up, it's easy enough just for players to play dumb. But there were inconsistencies across the board in how Manfred and the league handled this and how they handled the Astros one. Like Manfred was almost praising Red Sox leadership by being as compliant as they were throughout the process.
Pretty much.
And he was destroying the Astros front office, who like didn't know, and they punished them for not knowing. But then he was sort of saying, like, "Oh, the Red Sox didn't know this." So there's some incongruencies, but I can get over that.
I mean, just from reading the Athletic article that came out yesterday by Evan Durelich, it basically seems like, I mean, I kind of like basically describes that he was just like basically any sign information or anything like that he was giving players wasn't based off of like video in the game that he had analyzed. It was basically off of other work like outside of the game that he had done. So like I don't even know if his punishment is very like I don't know if he's deserving of this punishment. I feel like he's just doing his job. Like I feel like if they have the technology to analyze like their swing and analyze like different at bats and things like that, like isn't that part of the game in a way? Like if you're just analyzing old video, like sign stealing is part of the game.
And in a way, it is the game.
Yeah.
Like this kind of thing happens in the game, and how else do you get better, or how else do you get a leg up or prepare for an opponent? You study film, you study game film. I mean, football teams do it all the time. They gather film from previous games and they say, look what they did, and game plans change from game to game, but with baseball, it's kind of hard to kind of, change up a game plan. What are you going to do? But at the same time, an idea of changing up the game would be to analyze, if someone's really good at hitting a fastball, or, do they struggle with the off-speed pitch? Like all that data is out there. So I think Manfred to suspend him for essentially doing his job, during the 2018 season, I think is outlandish and ridiculous to me. I think it's just saying, oh, hey, the Astros stole signs, so let's punish the other team that's, allegedly stealing signs. Biggest takeaways for me is that the fact that people, they took away a draft pick is crazy.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that the evidence against them regarding this was not as surmountable as the evidence for the Astros.
Yeah.
Like there was video evidence of where you could hear that trash can banging on that in an empty stadium. It's like, oh my God, like Mike Fire said this, and now you put video to it and you see this and you hear this happening. You're like, Jesus, like how long have they been doing this? So you see how long it traced back, and then all of these players coming out and saying that, like, no, this has been going on for a while, and and then you see how they do it. Like none of that, absolutely none of that came out in Boston.
It was more, I think it was more intricate in Houston. Houston took it to like another level with the banging the trash cans and the supposed there hasn't been any evidence that's come out yet. But of the buzzers,
they did it in game.
Of them wearing the buzzers is what I'm saying.
There's no doubt in my mind they wore the buzzers.
Yeah, I mean, there's no evidence. There's no evidence yet. But
the only thing you need to know is a brain and to watch that video of Jose Altuve when he hit the game-winning homer, and just the way he's like, "Don't touch my jersey," and then comes out with his jersey, just goes straight to the dugout and comes out with his jersey off, and like, oh, I got a new tattoo. Sick, dude. Oh, now wait, my wife doesn't want me to get off my body, dude. You're going to the World Series. You have a chance. You're the best team in baseball right now. You have a chance. You're riding all this momentum. You're in the moment, and the only thing you can think of is something your wife told you this morning when you left the house. And to top it off, she said to you, "Make sure no one rips off your jersey if you hit the game-winning home run."
Just in case.
Just in case.
No way. No way.
Miss me with that bullshit.
It's wow. I mean, I'm glad this thing is finally over, to be honest with you.
So, Greg, would you take Cora back?
Yeah, 100%.
I would too.
I love Alex Cora as a manager. I think he was like, I mean, he's a guy that's like, even before he was in Houston, he's a guy that's been with the organization forever. I think he was there. I think he was the backup second baseman in 2007. He played with Dustin Pedroia when Dustin Pedroia was a rookie, I think. So he's been with the organization forever, and then he obviously got out of playing and he got into managing. And I think the Astros, when he was the bench coach, was his first managing position. So having him come back to Boston when he got hired, first of all, was awesome. And he's not up there with Tito in my books, like as one of my favorite managers. But I think he kind of had the same effect in a way, because he's kind of more of a player's manager. He's a little more relaxed. He's intricate into the game and things like that. So I would take him back 100%. I think he was a great manager. Just having all of this come down on it was a little wild. I mean, I think it was right to part ways when everything happened. But I think after his suspension is over, he's gone through the end of the 2020 season. I would be awesome to come back. That would be awesome to have him come back.
Who is the manager right now?
Ron Renicky, the intern. He was the intern manager, but now they took away that title last year or yesterday. So now he's the manager. So who knows what's going to happen after the 2020 season?
I guess my question is, would he be in line for taking a demotion?
Yeah,
sounds like he'll be the next whistleblower.
I don't know. I mean, he was the bench coach last year. And he was the bench coach for their 2018 season as well. So I don't know if he would take a demotion if Cora came back. I don't know if they're going to bring Cora back. I haven't read anything into that yet. I'm going to today. But I would be delighted to have Alex Cora back in the.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation. I'm just glad that all of this is put to bed, and now that we can focus on what really matters, and that is that the Astros are the biggest cheaters in baseball history.
Yep, 100%. I'm just excited it's over. It was good news to see free Alex Cora. Let's go Sox, even because they're not going to have a good season, even if baseball does come back. So, this week was actually like a good week for baseball news. It seemed like there's a lot more news than actually normal. That has been in the past couple weeks, given the situations. And it came to light this week that the New York Mets may have a new interested buyer. I don't know if I ever saw this one coming. Maybe I did. But Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez have retained the services of, I believe it's J.P. Morgan, to put together a bid to buy the Mets. Dre, are you excited for this?
I mean, I am. I am 100%, because if you listen to Alex Rodriguez since he's retired, you see how much more he appreciates the game of baseball. And one thing that you want in an owner, especially in a capitalist sport, is someone who loves the game and understands what it takes to win. And the current owners, the Wilpons, don't get that. They haven't gotten that for years. They've been blessed with talent over the course of decades. I'm not 100% certain when they became owners of the Mets, but if you date back to the Mets all the way in the 80s, whenever they started with Darryl Strawberry, and those years, they were good then. The 90s, late 90s, they were pretty good when they had Piazza and stuff. Early 2000s versus the Yankees, they were in the World Series versus the Yankees. Like, there's been times when they've been winning, and they play in New York City. And we're talking about a capitalist league. Bottom line is this: it's a big money team, a big market, and the Wilpons just don't capitalize on their market in order to build a consistent winner.
Yeah.
Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez, who's from New York, will ensure that happens. So this is good. This is good for the Mets organization. This is good for the Mets fans, and I'm curious to see what the Mets will sell for, because the last team I remember that got sold was the Royals, and that was pretty higher than what I expected. It was I think it was $2.1 billion, maybe.
Wow.
So, it is a crazy number for the Royals, but yeah, I'm curious to see what the Mets would sell for, what the Wilpons would take in order for J-Lo and A-Rod to become owners of that team.
I mean, it's got to be a pretty big number. I mean, they're in New York City. I mean, obviously they're like the Clippers in a way, where they're kind of the lowly, like, black duck in the family behind the Yankees and things like that. Clippers behind the Lakers. but they're still in New York City. Like, I feel like a new owner could take this organization to like another level, if you know what I mean. Like you said, they've had the talent for a while and things like that. I guess like when the news came out, I was just kind of surprised that it was A-Rod. I mean, obviously, I think he's come out and said that he wants to own a baseball franchise at some point in his life. But I just think it's funny. It's just A-Rod. He's gone from, it seems like almost being blackballed from the league at one point when he went through all the steroid stuff at the end of his career, and now he's like this. His face is out there all the time. He's broadcasting MLB games and things like that. Like, he's kind of gone from like the black duck to completely changing his image around after his career is over, and now he's getting ready to buy MLB franchise. I mean, I think it's kind of wild the way his image just changed around in recent memory, in recent years.
Jennifer Lopez will do that to you.
Also, smart baseball knowledge will do that.
Yeah.
He's been very good as an analyst for, I believe it was Fox and ESPN. I think he was on both stations. Started on Fox when his retirement started, and then got a position on ESPN where he's a broadcaster on Sunday Night Baseball. He's just super insightful and super play. And the biggest thing is he took the opportunity to be super apologetic about the mistakes he made.
Yeah.
And he owns them. And it's a different situation than Pete Rose, but at the same time, you really gotta tip your cap to him.
He's just like, anytime I watch him, like listening to podcasts he's on and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you guys ever listen to the Corp or anything like that with Big Cat. He's just like, sometimes he's just a little cringeworthy to me. Just the way he inserts himself into conversation and stuff like that. A-Rod, that is. But it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I'm just glad to see the Mets get bought by someone that can change it around, I think. Because I feel like they've needed new owners for a while, from what I understand. I mean, haven't they been like up for sale like 3 times, or had like close to 3 new owners come in and then everything falls apart?
Yeah, the last person that was supposed to buy the Mets was a hedge owner in New York City, hedge fund owner in New York City,
Yeah.
and he backed out last minute. That was as recent as last season. So I think this gets done sooner rather than later. I'm just glad that it's A-Rod and J-Lo, again, mainly because A-Rod, being a baseball guy, he knows what it takes to win in a capless league. So he will put every single resource he has into that team to ensure that it's a consistent winner.
And having Jeter in the same division, that'll be interesting.
Who do you think will be the better owner / manager / because Jeter's like the GM, isn't he? Or is he like the owner of the Marlins?
Oh, he owns the Marlins.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's the better owner?
He's like the CEO or something.
In the long run, Jeter or A-Rod?
I'd say A-Rod, because you saw what Jeter did whenever he came in. I mean, he sort of has like a 10-year plan, not even a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Where he just completely tore it down. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but he came in and immediately just shedded payroll and completely tore that team down. And the returns so far have not been good.
Well, I think they weren't like, they were kind of in a crappy situation when he took over. I mean, they had that big ass contract for Giancarlo Stanton, and that I feel like that was kind of bogging them down in a way. I mean, it was an A-Rod type contract, wasn't it? It was like $275, like $300 million over 10 years or something like that.
I think it was $325 over 10, but there's an opt-out clause in year 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, forget it. We just don't want to deal with this contract. And it kind of sucks because he's the one that's going to sell tickets. The team wasn't that good. And you're talking about a team that just overcame the Jose Fernandez situation. They had good players in place. They just couldn't get it done. And then when Jeter bought the team, he just looked at it and said, I'm going to tear this down and just build it up in my image. And you see that most of the time whenever a new ownership management comes in, but they have a plan. And his plan immediately was to trade the superstar. And I think it's kind of weird because you're doing it solely based on dollars, but the return you got for them just wasn't good. And part of that is because you're talking about a team that has to take on that contract, but again, it's a capless league, So a team like the Yankees, I mean, they're going to give you some prospects, but in the end, you're accomplishing your goal of trading the superstar and shedding those dollars. It just, to me, it just reeks of nutting, but also you want to kind of give the guy a chance to see his vision. It's just nowhere near complete, and I haven't seen any type of growth.
It's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens moving forward with the Mets. I mean, they have the talent. I feel like, they have a young core with Pete Alonso kind of leading the way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them if they get new ownership. Big Pete, Polar Bear Pete, Andre's favorite player.
I saw a video on Twitter the other day of his anniversary of my favorite home run I think I've seen in a long time, where the ball was like 16 feet off the ground, but it traveled 450 feet in dead center field. It was a laser. I'm still baffled to it by this day. It was first Atlanta, and it landed in the center field waterfall.
Yeah,
it is crazy. 16 feet's kind of low, but at the same time, like I think it was more like 20. But you
like that same trajectory.
Like home run stadium trajectories, you're looking at like 40, 50 feet maybe. Like it's like you're looking up like this. You're just kind of watching it. Like when's it gonna hit the wall? And it just kind of kept going.
Yeah. So we did have some other baseball news as well, which is surprising. 2 or more topics is normally surprising for a quarantine episode. But baseball was played recently, guys. So the sport has returned in a way out in South Korea. The South Korean Baseball League started playing their games in front of an empty stadium, obviously. The fact that baseball is back, the video was shared on Twitter. Someone hit a home run. I think it was like a spring training game in a way, like you could compare it to a spring training game. And the guy hit a home run, and like I was just like, let's go. Like baseball is back. It was fun to see. The fact that baseball is back, the umpires and who else? They wore masks and gloves during the game and things like that. If baseball can be played in South Korea, guys, how long do you think it is before baseball is played in the United States?
What was South Korea's hit from the coronavirus? I think they were pretty far out in front of it with testing and quarantining.
I think so. Yeah. They were. It hit them before it hit us. Spring training for 10 teams, so no fans allowed in the stadium. More than 20,000 empty seats.
So on Tuesday when baseball was played, they had 9 infections that day and 1 more death, and their totals were 10,683 cases and 237 deaths. Courtesy of ESPN, by the way. So, it's not as big. It's not as big as the United States because those figures alone don't even exceed New York.
Yeah.
So the fact baseball is being played there, it's nice, but at the same time, that just kind of puts things in perspective that's how far the curve has to flatten in order for sports to be back. And you're seeing the drastic measures that they're taking by making umpires wear masks and gloves. Rather be safe than sorry. So on one hand, I'm glad to see sports being played at least somewhere. On the other hand, we still have a long way to go.
Yeah. Long way to go. I thought it was also funny though that we kind of talked this when we were talking about the episode, but I don't know if it wasn't really a brawl, but they actually got into a little scuffle during one of these games, and I guess a pitch was thrown at the batter that was up to bat. So I find it funny that the intricacies of baseball, the unwritten rules, are still being played in South Korea, even during the middle of a quarantine.
I couldn't find it. I'm going to try to find it now.
I didn't even think about that, Mac. Probably blamed him for coronavirus. Oh, hey, you're stepping in the box. This is your fault that we waited. I'm going to throw 3 fastballs at you. I saw the clip.
Yeah, I saw it too. Middle of a quarantine, and unwritten baseball rules are still being followed. I love it. I love it.
It's crazy. What's crazy to me is he tried to hit him 3 times, and there was, and he missed twice, and it's like, how do you miss so bad? And then finally got him, right in the thigh.
In a it was during a preseason game too, which is like which makes it even funnier. Like, can you imagine someone like throwing at a hitter during a spring training game in the MLB? Like, I don't think it happens very often.
Yeah.
Well, when spring training was being played here, people were throwing at the Astros and making it seem like it was a big deal.
True.
I mean, the first pitch he got hit with was a fastball. The second one was a curveball. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's up in arms! Like you can't believe they're headhunting." Dude, he threw a curveball at him. Like, he was not headhunting.
Like, I mean, didn't the first Astros batter of spring training get hit like with a curveball?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Like, someone got hit with a fastball and a curveball. I'm not sure the order, but I definitely remember someone saying they're headhunting this team. You got to protect them at MLB, and it's like they're a curveball 80 miles an hour. How's that headhunting?
Like he lost it. He just he got away from him a little bit. Is what I remember the blame being.
Being a Pirates fan, playing against the Reds, I know headhunting.
Front seat.
Oh, it's like 5 minutes long.
Sosa deals inside.
The announcing is electric too.
I just found the video. Like, if you look at the video, like, I have a pause in the first like 3 seconds right now. It looks like Fernando Rodney is in the game pitching. Like, the guy.
How can I find it?
The guy's hat is like tilted to the side.
Check Twitter. Twitter has everything.
It's on. If you follow Jared Krause from Barstool Sports, it's on there.
Okay, I'll check that.
It's like April 19th on his page.
All right, I'm still there.
I'll try to share it when I edit the video together today. But yeah, absolutely hilarious. 11 Sports Taiwan is also the page it comes from. Brooksy.
I'm curious to see what Major League Baseball players are playing in that league. Is that the KBO?
Yeah, the KBO. Yeah.
Okay, because the KBO is definitely the second most popular baseball league out there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if that was the one. Honestly, I want to know if some of these games are gonna be on TV.
Can you bet on them?
You can. There's no doubt you can. I mean, you got to check FanDuel or DraftKings if you're in PA, or I think New Jersey's allowed to book there too. I think it's only 3 states, but those are 2 of the 3. But yeah, I'm curious to see. Definitely curious to see what kind of Major League Baseball players are over there that because that kind of helps whenever you get into a team. You want to see some familiar faces, and then it kind of helps build the league itself. From an outside fan's perspective.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if Major League Baseball is here, I would 100% be watching Major League Baseball.
Oh, without a doubt, it'd be on
without the KBO.
It'd be on my TV 24/7.
How does the pitcher get to stay in the game after this?
I don't know.
It's a wild situation.
Fastball. Yeah.
Oh, it's only a matter of time until it's back.
Oh, no.
Not a lot of time.
Okay. So baseball is back. Either way, it's back in South Korea.
It's back somewhere.
Yeah, it's back somewhere. Hopefully, sooner or later, it comes back to the United States. We'll see, I guess. I don't know, guys. But that's all we got for you today. Been a quick episode. Couple little things here and there. Hopefully baseball comes back sooner or later. It's getting into that point of the quarantine where I'm getting a little stir crazy.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Let's have some fun here. Since it's
Okay,
NFL draft day.
We got 2 minutes, Dre. Just like
NFL draft day. Mac, you don't have a pick till day 2, correct?
don't have a pick till day 2.
Brooksy, you're a Steelers fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's have some fun. Day 2 predictions. Mac, what are you looking at?
Day 2 predictions. If they could get a defensive end or a tight end or a defensive back, like either a safety or a cornerback, like someone to play nickel, something like that. That's what I'd be looking for the Bills.
There's someone like Ashton Davis.
Yeah, I don't have any specific names,
Okay.
but a tight end, a defensive end, or a cornerback would be ideal for me.
Okay. Brooksy, what about you?
If it's going to be on the offensive side of the ball, I feel like it could be most likely running back, then maybe wide receiver. But I feel like wide receiver is so deep they could get somebody like in their third.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they did like offensive line. But I want it to be running back, the guy from LSU. What's his? How do you pronounce
Clyde
his name?
Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, that guy.
I like
That's
it.
who I want.
I'll keep it short. Give me no lineman or D lineman. That's kind of where I'm at. So.
Okay. All right, guys.
Well, there it is. We have something to watch tonight.
Right? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Heart of the Order. See you next time.
Love the shirt.